Hello, what is up, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos on travel, fashion, and environmentalism. So if you like any of those things, you should consider subscribing to me. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about tips for staying in hostels. Hopefully I can help out people who are beginners who've never stayed in hostels, or anyone who just wants to learn more about hostels and make their hostel stay more luxurious, comfortable, amazing. I started staying in hostels about 2 years ago. I absolutely love them, and I feel like I've picked up some advice, some tips and tricks along the way. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I find my hostels, tips for what to bring if you're staying in a hostel, and how to be confident and make friends when you're at a hostel. Alright, cool. Let's get into it. The finger guns. Anyone else been using finger guns a lot lately? Is it TikTok? Is TikTok making me do this? So first off, what to expect. You can expect, a room with a bunch of people staying in the same room. You can expect cheaper prices for boarding. You could expect maybe some free meals. You could expect maybe a kitchen, depending on what country you're in. Maybe there's a pool. There's definitely going to be a common room. Some hostels have bars. Overall, you can meet a group of like-minded individuals who love to travel. I think staying in hostels is such a smart idea and something that everyone should experience in their lifetime. Although it is not safe to travel right now, I did want to make this video for when it is safe to travel again, to get people excited to get out there and maybe get people excited to try hostels for the first time. I think the best part of hostels is the people that you meet there. I think I've mentioned before in previous videos of mine that my favorite thing about traveling is meeting people. Hostels are especially amazing when you're solo traveling, but they can also be just as fun when you're traveling with a friend. You meet some other friends, you can all be friends, you can all do stuff together. It's just so much fun. And it's also way cheaper, obviously, to stay in a hostel than to stay anywhere else. I'd recommend if you are a little, reserved or worried about staying in a hostel for the first time, to book a private room. I feel like a lot of people don't know that you can book private rooms in hostels. So maybe if you're going with a friend, you could get a private room for the two of you, or if you're going by yourself, you could obviously get a private room by yourself. That way you're still able to experience that hostel life whenever you want. You could go into the common room, you can mingle, you can make friends, but then if you need that time by yourself, or you need to sleep in a room by yourself, just to, get yourself into it and see if you enjoy staying in hostels, that would be a good idea. Private rooms are a little more expensive, obviously, than if you're staying in a dorm room, but a really good stepping stone, I think, into the hostel world. So when I know I'm staying in a hostel, I like to bring certain things that I know are going to maximize my comfort. The first thing I would recommend bringing is a really good neck pillow. Oh, so here's my neck pillow. This is the most amazing, luxurious neck pillow there is. Cabot? I don't know how to say it. I love this neck pillow so much. It is memory foam, as you can see, so it's squishy here. It has a pocket on the side, which I like to keep earphones in or earplugs. This pillow is so amazing because the walls are so high, so here. This is what it looks like when it's on, and then you can literally just buckle this up and then pull it like this, and oh my gosh, I look so crazy right now, but this is the comfiest thing because when you're lying, you can if your head shifts, it's gonna cradle your neck so nicely. Okay, I've been talking about this neck pillow for way too long. I would recommend bringing a good neck pillow. Sometimes the pillows in hostels are so flat, they're this big, and I like to bring my neck pillow. If I find in a hostel that the pillows are really flimsy, I will put my neck pillow underneath it. I'll sleep on the side with it. I'll fold this because it is memory foam. It's so easy to manipulate. But bringing a neck pillow is just gonna help you be more comfortable and feel more secure. If the pillow at your hostel sucks, then you can get more sleep, so you can go out and enjoy your day in whatever country you're in. The next thing I would recommend bringing would be a sleeping mask. I have this sleeping mask. It is really great because, as you can see, it kind of pivots in and then cups your eye socket area. It's really great. I find it completely blacks out wherever I am, and then it just has a Velcro on the back. The Velcro sometimes gets stuck in my hair, I'm not gonna lie. So if you find a better alternative than Velcro, maybe do that. Sometimes when you're staying in hostels, people could be leaving at any point in time. They could have an early morning flight or a late night flight, in which case they may need to turn on some lights in order to get their luggage and get themselves together before they leave for their flight. So if you have a sleeping mask, nothing like that is going to bother you. Another thing I recommend bringing would be earplugs. I personally don't have a pair of good reusable earplugs. I literally used a pair of like disposable ones that I got in a hostel in Galway? Is that where I went? Galway. I got a pair of disposable earplugs from a hostel in Galway in the spring of 2019, and I've been using them ever since. I just personally don't like to throw things out that much, so I am looking to invest in a good pair of reusable earplugs that I can keep for years and years. But earplugs, again, are really great for the same reason that the sleeping mask is, because people could be coming in, out, going out, late, whatever, at any point in time, and so this is just gonna stop you from like hearing external noises and help you sleep better. I swear that when I'm in a hostel and I have my comfy neck pillow and my sleeping mask and my earplugs in, you cannot bother me. People have like told me the next morning in hostels that they were like doing something crazy, or they tripped and fell and they had to turn the light on and it was this big kerfuffle and the whole room woke up except for me. Along with comfort, people may say I'm bridging into diva territory, but I do love to bring an extra blanket. I was lucky enough that when I went on a trip with Air Transat a really long time ago, that I actually got one of their little travel blankets, and it's really cute. It comes with this like drawstring bag, so it keeps it pretty compact. I actually don't put this into my bag if I'm traveling. I tie it to the outside of my bag to save room. Little blankets like this that are pretty thin. This one's thin, but it's got me through some dark times. Sometimes, again, hostel blankets can be too thin, too thick. I really like the weight of this blanket to be added on to something if I'm too cold. No one can sleep when they're too cold. So again, this is just a comfort thing. I love to use it on planes because planes get chilly, and I love to use it in hostels just to maximize my comfort. Another thing I would say is a necessity for staying in a hostel would be to bring a lock. A lot of hostels have either lockers or under bed storage that you can lock up your belongings in. Not that I don't trust anyone, but you just need to be safe when you're traveling. These people that you meet could become your friends in a couple days, but you just need to keep your wits about you and make sure that you have your stuff safe and locked up. I've been using this lock for a while now, just a simple lock, but I also like to bring, when I'm traveling, smaller locks like this. So this one's just a basic lock, but then this one is actually an Air Canada certified lock. I think it's so that the air transit control people can like open up your bag if they need to, but I use this on my luggage. But I also will use it if for whatever reason this lock is too thick to lock up my belongings. I usually stay in hostels that have lockers, but if there's no locker in the hostel or my bag is a little bit too big to fit in the locker, I will honestly just put all my valuables inside my luggage and lock them up with this. If you do get to your hostel and you realize you don't have a lock or you forgot to get one, a lot of hostels will rent out locks, but I do like to bring my own to save money, but just so you know, that is an option. Alright, and now I'm going to move on to talking about how to behave in a hostel, sort of like mannerisms and strategies for like interacting with people to maximize your experience and to make some friends. The first thing I would recommend would be to be friendly. Now, this isn't just the Canadian in me speaking, but I think it's really important for everyone to be super friendly to people in their dorm or people they come across with. This is just going to maximize your potential of making friends and possibly breaking the ice with someone. I always make a point that if I'm just hanging out in my hostel and someone comes in, especially if they come in for the first time or I've never met them, I make a point to say hi, like, I'm Rachel, nice to meet you. You know, then we usually strike up a conversation of like, where are you from? How long are you traveling for? It really just breaks the ice, and nothing is more uncomfortable than like if you were to walk into a hostel and no one says hi to you and you're just like there, like, it just makes it kind of awkward, because then a certain amount of time goes by and you're like, can I still say hi to them? Is it weird because we've been in the same room for so long? I say just break the ice right away. If you come into a hostel room and no one says hi to you, say hi, like nice to meet you, strike up a conversation with someone. And if someone comes into your hostel room, say hi to them. It doesn't even have to be a long conversation, but make sure you introduce yourself. Another piece of advice I would recommend: to be polite and be clean. I feel like these things go hand in hand when you're staying in a hostel, because you are essentially living with other people for however many days. You need to be polite and courteous that other people are in the room, so try not to be too loud at certain times that most people are sleeping. Try not to spread yourself in the bathroom. Just be mindful that you are staying with other people. Something I like to do is if I know I'm gonna have an early morning flight, I either like to let other people in my dorm know, hey, I'm gonna be waking up early, I'm gonna try to be super quiet, just to give them a heads up. And I also pack my luggage ahead of time. I will lay out the outfit that I wanna wear, so when I get up in the morning, all I have to do is change into that outfit and maybe throw some last minute things in my luggage. But I like to pack up my luggage and make sure everything is ready to go, so I'm not being super noisy in the morning to other people who are trying to sleep. Another piece of advice for interacting with people would be to be confident. I think this is easier said than done. I tend to be pretty outgoing most of the time, so comes a little more naturally to me. I just think if you exude confidence, you are going to be an upbeat, happy person. People are going to want to spend time with you. You're going to make other people feel comfortable in themselves, that they can then, you know, open up with you and maybe hang out with you for the day. And my last piece of advice for interacting at hostels would be to make friends with the people who are working at the hostel. So people who are working there could either be travelers themselves or people who are locals. Either way, they're gonna have been in that country for a little bit. They're gonna know places to go, things to do, and some of them just get paid for hanging out with guests and, you know, interacting with people and making your stay that much more enjoyable. People at hostels can give you free city maps. They can recommend, you know, places to eat. They're also usually people who are really fun and exuberant. So if you make friends with them, maybe if you're not as outgoing, they can actually foster a friendship with you and someone else. If you make friends with someone who works at a hostel, they're always trying to chat people up. They're gonna know someone else. They're gonna be like, hey, you know, Rachel, meet so-and-so, or you know what I mean? So that's another piece of advice. If you're not as confident, not as outgoing, when you're signing in, try to talk to the people at the front desk and let them know who you are and where you're from, and I'm sure they'll be super friendly and super helpful. I've never stayed at a hostel where the people at the front desk weren't absolutely amazing. Okay, now how I find my hostels. Other than word of mouth through my friends who've already stayed at hostels, I also like to use Hostel World. Some tips that I like to do is I like to search the area and then see which hostels are the closest to the city center. I like to compare that to the price. I also like to read reviews and look at photos. I also look for hostels that have lockers because I do like to lock up my stuff, and I look for hostels as well that have towel rentals, which most hostels do, just because I don't like to travel with a towel, it's too bulky. I think Hostel World does a really good job at kind of narrowing down and lets you find what you're looking for. Like Hostel World is gonna let you know, hey, this is a party hostel. Hey, this is a hostel where like some families stay, or like, hey, this is a hostel where some older people stay. And it can kind of give you a sense of what you're looking for. Depending on the country, depending how long I'm there, will kind of make me decide what kind of hostel I want to stay at. I am in my 20s, so I sometimes do like to stay at party hostels because I find you meet a bunch of fun people there and you can all go out, especially if I'm traveling solo. Also on Hostel World, you can look up real-time reviews from people. Everyone kind of has like a little username on Hostel World. I really recommend making an account. You can put like wish lists of places you want to stay, bookmark hostels that you're interested in, want to look back on later. What I do like about the reviews on Hostel World is that they kind of rank it not only by a person's age, you can see the person's age, you can see their gender, and then you can also see what kind of traveler they are. So you can see like if they're a novice nomad, which means they haven't traveled like a bunch. There's avid traveler, and I think there's another one, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But that kind of gives you a sense of the person who is doing the reviewing. When I do look at the reviews and I see a novice nomad, I'm skeptical of the sense that they may be a bit of a like diva, one could say. But then if I look at one that's like an avid traveler, someone who travels all the time, they could be someone who like doesn't mind roughing it and like doesn't care. They'll sleep outside, they don't care. So I take everything with a grain of salt in terms of how I like to travel. And I also, this is really bad, don't do this. If you want to torture yourself, you can do this, but I like to rank the reviews by the amount of stars. So I'll look at all the 1-star reviews for that hostel, and then I'll check the date and see if it's like recent 1-star reviews, and then just kind of like read them and see if they're legitimate before I decide I want to stay at that hostel. And I'll also rank my reviews from the earliest date, so I can see really up-to-date reviews of the hostel from people who have like just stayed there like last week or something. There's also a way that you can kind of be like verified on Hostel World, so when I'm filtering out like what kind of hostels I want to stay at, I click that off. Sometimes I like to stay in a female dorm if I'm traveling alone. It really just depends on how I'm feeling for me, but that's something that you can apply a filter to. Alright, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it gave you some tips and strategies and made you excited to travel again and maybe excited to try your first hostel. If you've stayed in a hostel before and you have any tips that I didn't mention, leave them in the comments below. And if you have any questions about staying in hostels, you can also leave them in the comments below. Like I mentioned before, I make videos on fashion, travel, and environmentalism, so if you like any of those things, consider subscribing to me. I post videos every Sunday at 11 a.m. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
I got so much back, I think I'm never running out, yeah. Bust me down the wood, bitch, I don't do this for no clout, hey. I got so much back, I think I'm never running out.